Okay, fantastic. Well, let's kick off. Good morning, and you're very, very welcome to the webinar on Enterpryzing. So again, pretty much like the last webinar, what we'd like to do here is to introduce you to all the cool and wonderful changes that we're bringing into Enterpryze. And in particular, you can see we've brought a lot around purchase automation over the last number of months. And we've also brought in some cool changes around approvals within the system. So basically enabling you to improve all your processes within your organization. So very simply, let me just share with you what we will cover here today. So let's just kick off with that. So let me just share my screen and we'll get right into it. So there we go. So what we have here this morning in terms of the agenda, so just we've got a bit of an introduction, we've got the latest release. So as I've identified already, we'll have some cool feature changes around purchase automation and also around the approvals. So again, particularly around, we focused on last month on the webinar around business spend management. So still a very key part of any business and having control over the spend area within your organization. This month, we will focus in on customer relationship management. So just continuing that 360 view of what your business needs within a platform and on a day-to-day basis. Some cool tips and tricks. And what I look at there is something that you may not have seen yet in around the CRM, which is to do with the Outlook integration and how we can keep the touch point from the customer and keep the customer journey coming directly from your emails directly into Enterpryze. We have a question and answer session at the end, so if you would like to add any questions, please do so and pop them into the chat, and I will try to get to those at the very end. So let's just proceed. You know who I am. I'm the product expert here at Enterpryze, so we won't go into too much detail there. And let's just dive straight in and let's look at the latest release. So starting off here, again, around purchase automation, we have increased efficiency around matching prices. So what does that mean? So basically what we discovered is that you're scanning in an invoice and ultimately the price will be on the invoice and you scan in the invoice and you match that up to a document within Enterpryze. So whether that's a purchase request, purchase order or a purchase delivery. What we've discovered with some customers when they're importing those particular invoices, they may have a price that is zero or blank at that point in time. So what we've enabled you to do is, let me just play this here for you and you'll see it here on the demonstration. But when we go to scan in the invoice, so here we have a line, as you can see, it's got a zero price attached to it. And now when we relate that particular line to one of the existing documents, so in this case, it's a purchase order within Enterpryze, you can see here that the price is then updated as per the scanned document. So a great little piece of AI to ensure that you don't have to keep going in to amend those lines and to basically match them up directly to every line within your internal document within Enterpryze. So we're saving you some time and effort to updating those prices. So you can see there very simply, the price is zero. You simply click to relate the document and the price gets updated. So you don't have to then manually edit the line and put in a price or predict what the price should be, or potentially go back into the related purchase order or purchase delivery within Enterpryze to see, well, what did I order? What did we get delivered from our supplier at that point in time? So a great little feature to help you save time and of course, just to give that great piece of automation within the system. So moving on then to the next one, we have an option here about removing unwanted lines. So what we've discovered, and again, this is all through listening to yourselves. This is you telling us that, look, we've got this problem when we're scanning in invoices and we're finding we're getting invoices in from suppliers that have multiple lines that are completely irrelevant. So you know there's relevant stock there, there's relevant delivery items, there's relevant potentially text lines, but there could be other information that's just not relevant at that point in time. So what we've done here is we've just given you an added feature. So normally when you're removing a line on any document, as you can see there, I've highlighted the fact that you can click on the delete button to remove any line at any point in time. But with this new addition, we can select the multiple lines. We can click on a button that says remove blank lines, and it just means that you can do them all at once and not just line by line. So again, just increasing a little bit of AI efficiency around maintaining your scanned documents. So again, just trying to save you some more time. So it's all about listening to what you need when scanning in all of these scanning in all of these invoices. So as you can see, over the last few months, there's been a lot around purchase automation. So do reach out for us if you've missed anything in regards to any of the changes that have happened, but primarily on using purchase automation, because it really is a great feature, and particularly around the business spend management, it really does help you day to day. So let's move on. We have purchase approval. So we've always been able to allow you to approve your purchase request and approve the purchase orders. And for those of you that are using it, it's a great little added feature. For those of you that may not be using it just yet, what it enables you to do is to control again the business spend management within the system. So very simply, a user adds a request or adds an order, and then that goes off for approval within the system. And obviously that's set up through the settings, who can approve, who requires their documents to be approved. And once that's all instigated within the system, the user that's adding the relevant document, it goes through as a draft document. And until that draft document is approved, it doesn't become an added purchase request or an added purchase order. So the user can't actually do anything further with it. So what we've done here, we've increased that control even further. So perhaps you've got high purchase spend within your organization. So what we've allowed you to do here is to switch on an added feature by allowing multiple approvers. So you may have users that maybe only require to go to the line manager to get approval on something. But perhaps in addition to the line manager, you might want to include additional managers or additional approvers within the system, particularly where you're coming up to a time when persons are going to be on leave. So with this option, we can allow multiple approvers. So let me just show you what that basically means. So this is all to do with the admin side of it. So back in the settings option under purchasing, you can have a tick box here to say multiple approvers. And by doing so, then I go down to set the user limit, and against the relevant users, I can define how many approvers are required. So as we know, the standard system would be one approver. So we can increase that to the required number of approvals. So you can see there we've got a new column. So required approvals. So we've got 2 out of 2. So that means that if a person, so for myself, when I add an order or request into the system, I have to get approval from both of the approvers in order for that order to go through the system. Otherwise, it will remain as a draft within the system. So the spend is never approved until both persons take it through. So I'm just showing you an example here of taking through a purchase order. And as you can see here, it's telling me that there's 0 of 2 approvals required. Now, if I try to select one, I'm going to get an error. It tells me I have to have 2. So you can see there that the user actually can't proceed. They're going to be blocked and they won't be able to add the order. So by putting in the second approver, and then we get to save the document. So at this point, the document is still only draft. We take it through then to the Approvals tab, at which point then we can define or approve the document. Of course, we can reject. So as an approver, I get to approve. And again, you can see here there's a column that tells you how many approvals have occurred against that particular document. So that is important. How do you identify how many approvals are still yet to go in the document? So now if we log in as the second approver and perform exactly the same steps, and let's just approve that second document. And what it means then is that once the second approval is done, in this particular case, that document then becomes a real purchase order where the originator, i.e. me, the person that actually added the purchase order to begin with, can then take that through, send it off to the supplier, sorry, excuse me, or potentially send it off for delivery once received from the supplier. You can see there, I'm just going in to do the second approval. And again, once I click on approve, you can see there that the number of approvers and the document has been removed from the list. So if I go now through to my purchase orders, that order has been added to the system, and I will be able to see in my remarks. So again, through the remarks option, don't forget that on your grid, well, how do I identify who has actually approved the document? You can simply run a report from the list of purchase orders, identifying within the remarks field who the approvers are. It really is that simple. And again, just an added benefit to where there's high spend within your organization and you need to increase control over who is approving your purchases. So let's move on to what I've mentioned already around our focus for today. And don't forget to check out, I mean, we've obviously got the release document and all the cool features that were released in the last update. So do check those out and have a conversation with us around those. And perhaps if there's something that's not quite suiting you just yet, perhaps it will suit you again down the future. So do have that conversation. So our focus around customer relationship management. So we all know, I don't need to teach you about what customer relationship management is. We all know how much our customers mean to us, how important they are. But what's more important is tracking all the information that comes in from our customers. And that comes from whether it's a lead, prospect, all the way through to getting paid, delivery of stock, delivery of services, tracking the after sales, everything that's involved in management within your customers. So it's important that we all have something in place to bring all that information together. And I guess that's what I'm trying to show you here in regards to Enterpryze, that you can bring everything under one platform, under one house. So we all know the benefits of being able to have a customer or CRM system. So tracking future revenue, leads, monitoring the after-sales service. Data is clean and organized, so it forces you into a process where you have to clean the data and keep it organized. Better communications, because of course you get to track activity. So that's very, very important. There's challenges, and look, the challenges are very limited. I mean, cost to change agreement to store data centrally, getting users on board. And I mean, that is a key thing within CRM. It's getting everybody on board, right through from the salesperson, getting them to record the information and input it into the system, but input it into the system in a way that's manageable and it's traceable and that the lists are relevant. So for example, if you're doing any future marketing, that you have all the relevant information there. And system rewards, and they speak for themselves. And anybody that's currently using Enterpryze or any other system rewards are very important. You've got data is central, it's under your control, you get to manage that information. Particularly around CRM, you get to see the pipeline, so you get to see potential revenue that's coming down the line. Record all the activity, whether that's for new or existing customers. And of course, primarily with our Enterpryze, you get to receive notifications. So you've got a whole notification center where you can manage and see all that information coming through. So just to give you an overview and an idea of what occurs within the CRM and Enterpryze, and again, it's just reiterating what I've said there. So right from the start, you get to track the leads, engage with the customer, record all the activities, add the quotations, follow through to a sale, and ultimately invoice and pay, all the while keeping track of all the activity that takes place around that. So just to give you an idea here, we get to record the lead, the meetings, the calls, negotiations. These are all around the activities that are happening on a day-to-day basis with regards to your leads, your prospects, and of course, your existing customers. Because reinventing the wheel with your existing customers is so important. It's important to keep that engagement and identifying your existing customer needs at all times. So being able to add a quote, add a sales order, all the while receiving notifications. So when all of these activities are taking place within the system, you can identify as and when they're coming into the system. You're getting the notification on a day-to-day basis. You've got your calendar that you can refer to see when all the calls are coming through. And then ultimately, everything leads on to the sale. So whether you invoice and pay, and of course, more importantly, the after-sale service. So we all know how important it is. We sell something, we sell a service, we sell a product. What's more important? Bring the customer, find out how they're getting on, Is it working for them? Do they need a replacement? Are they happy? I mean, ultimately, it's all very, very important. So what I'm going to look at next with getting the most out of the of Enterprise. So let's have a look here. This is basically what I'm calling CRM extended. So we've talked about there the full 360 view within CRM. So I'm just going to give you a little look in with the Outlook integration, which is one of our wonderful Power Apps. And what this enables you to do is enables you to take and read your emails, adding opportunities, adding activities, and also updating existing opportunities, all the while doing it directly from your email, so your touch point. So this is where customers coming through to you and they're saying, I need this, can we arrange a call? And you're like, okay, I need to jump into Enterpryze, add that in as an activity or add that in as a new prospect or a new lead. But look, we can do this even smarter for you. So let me just jump right in to Enterpryze, and I'm just going to show you quickly how that's all done. So let me just share my screen. And let's just jump into Enterpryze. So what I want to show you here, so if we look here purely just at the home screen, this is the hub of everything and all the activities that are happening. So particularly around CRM, as we get all the notifications through the system, I'm just going to jump in there to one of those companies. So as you get the notification through the system, you will see that we have activities that are scheduled for a certain day of the week. And I've actually got one coming up for today. Notifications, if there's any new orders. And if I look down here through the history, I can see there that there's new activity. I'm also following one of the leads. So what I'm going to show you next is, let me just share again. And I'm just going to pop into my email here. And let's just pop into the inbox here. And what I have here, so I've got an email in here from one of my customers, one that I made earlier. And as you can see here, it's just says, hi Sharon, I'm reaching out to you to get a price for a new iPhone. Please arrange a call. Thank you. Regards, Anthony. And I can see here as well that I've got quite a large attachment as well to that email. So what we've enabled you to do here with the CRM. So very cool here using Power Apps. So up here on the right, as you can see, we've got an add-on here or an add-in within Outlook. And if I click on the drop down here under opportunity, I have an option here to create opportunity or update opportunity. So I'm simply just going to create opportunity. So you saw the detail that we have there coming in on that particular email. You can see there straight away. First thing it's asking me to do is to identify, well, which customer is this for? So I'm just going to grab one of my customers here. I can specify the relevant contact. You can see there that the name has taken it from the subject of the email coming here in. I've got the salesperson, the dates, etc. We can specify the stage. So at this point, I can say, well, actually, it's a lead. So it's at the very beginning of the pipeline stage. And down here, I can go, okay, so it's potential here. So we're looking at the latest iPhone. Let's just throw an amount in there. And we can see there that the remarks have the content of the email. I can also include the attachment. So let's just click on create. And I'm going to show you what happens next. So when we click on create, we'll get a little pop-up window that tells us the sales opportunity ID. So it's number 25, and we can open it directly in Enterpryze. And we can also click on a reply. So let's just open that in Enterpryze. And what I'm actually going to do is pop in here to Enterpryze. Let me just share the screen with you now. So now that we're back here in Enterpryze, and I'm just going to do a refresh there. And if you remember, the ID on the opportunity that we created is number 25. And if you look here, and we've got sales lead 24 was created yesterday. And if we just go through to CRM here and just go into the leads, and you can see there number 25. And if we drill in, you can see there all the details that I brought in, but more importantly, you can see the attachment. And what I wanted to show you here is that we've enabled you to do through the CRM and attaching it through the email, we've increased the size. So normally when you put an attachment through to a transaction, and whether that's through a lead or a quote or any transaction within Enterprise, there's a maximum attachment size of 5 megabits. But what we've done is through the Power App for Outlook integration, we've increased that to 25. So perhaps your customers are reporting a service issue and they've identified what the problem is, and they might record a little video just to say, look, this is the problem we're having, just to explain it further, this is what's gone wrong. And that's exactly what I've done here. I've actually attached a little video, and then you can attach the relevant size of that to the, to the lead as it comes through. So it's a great little added feature. And again, if I just go back to, I want to share it my screen again. So another thing with regards to the email, I just bring you back to that. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Technical issues. So just to show you here, so for example, I've received an email here from an existing customer who actually has already responded through a lead, and I can see here lead number 24, which you saw in our notifications. So what I can simply do here is grab this particular response and I can update the opportunity. So by updating opportunity 24, it identifies that this is where the AI becomes really, really cool. So I can come in here and you can see there it's identified opportunity number 24. And it's bringing in all the remarks. I can add a new activity, so I can put a reminder to arrange a call for next week. And I can set that reminder for today, tomorrow, whatever time is required. I can attach the email again. I can click on update and sales opportunity updated. Let's just jump back into Enterpryze there. Perfect. And let's just go to, just going to refresh that. Let's just go into lead number 24. And then if we jump in, so as you can see here, what I'm doing is a full 360, and there we have the activity that's been entered for today. I can look at that, of course, on the calendar. I can drill into the activity details just to see what it is. If, for example, I had already defined that activity for a future date, it would bring that through to the system. So what I'm showing you there in terms of tips and tricks is that in regards to CRM, we've got a full 360 view. So not only do we get to do it within the platform, but we get to bring Outlook and emails in as well. So all the touch points from the customer are brought into the system. So some really, really, really good tips around that. So that's it for this morning, guys. If you have any questions, do pop them in. If not, certainly do reach out to us again. And contact sales, contact through support, and let us know if you want to have a conversation around anything that's been discussed, and in particular around any of the changes that are coming and anything else that potentially that you would like or would love to have within the system. We're all the time listening to what people need, and that's the important part. I think we just have a look there. So somebody's asking there, does it sync with meetings? So the thing with the Outlook, the Power integration, what it allows you to do is to ultimately add an opportunity, update the opportunity, or add activities directly into Enterpryze. So our Power App is directly between Outlook and Enterpryze. It's bringing the information into Enterpryze and updating the CRM. So meetings, if you're talking about Outlook meetings, no. So the ultimate response is that it's everything coming into Enterpryze, and the same on the services side. So if you're doing sending service engineers as well, you can update the service calls and update the activities relating to those. So somebody's asked me there in relation to the Power App, is it addition to the original system? So yes, it is. So what I'd suggest you do, would you reach out to sales, or what I can do is I can get your sales manager to contact you. I can see the person here. So I can get them to contact you and give you all of the relevant information. That's okay. So the approvers, again, another question coming in here, for the approvers, will they require full licenses, and would it be the same invoice approvers in the AP process? So yeah, so the approvers will actually have to have full access to purchasing, ultimately. So as administrator of the system, you will decide who's going to approve those documents. So anybody that has access to adding an order, adding a delivery, adding an invoice will be able to approve. So that's the basis of how the approvals works. And somebody's asking here about offline functionality, Outlook versus Enterprise, as we have. Okay, I see what you're saying there. So offline functionalities, we've got offline capability within the mobile apps, and we actually have a Power App, sorry, we have an app of all the various apps for Enterprise that enable you to work offline. And then once you're back online again with Enterprise on the web, that you'll be able to update in the back end. So for example, our Sell app, our Purchasing app, our CRM app, we actually have a pipeline app, so you can update everything offline and then upload that online once you're back in touch again with Wi-Fi. Fantastic. So you're dealing with your account manager at the moment. That's brilliant. Fantastic. Well, guys, it was a pleasure to present all those cool features to you this morning. And like I said, do reach out to your account managers and they will fill you in on all the required information. Reach out to sales, reach out to support, and let's start having a conversation. And listen, have a great rest of day and take care. Thank you.